Today, we're talking with Walter and his co-founders at Wasco, turning industrial waste into certified construction materials. We get into climate tech, conservative industries, and how real solutions actually scale. I want to start with how you guys first came up with the idea and what the first, let's start there. How did you first come up with the idea?
Yeah, well, I think that this is my question first. So basically, this started in Monterrey City, here in Monterrey City, because we have a good city, we have a beautiful city, we have a natural resource, etc. It's a lot. We have a lot of industry, but we have a lot of problem with the pollutions. Obviously, Mexico and Monterrey have the same problem, but actually, 7 people dies per day here in Monterrey because of this pollution. So I think this is my principal purpose to reduce this social problem and environmental problem. So I detected the principal factor here in Monterrey of this pollution, and we're talking about the mining industry and cement industry. So that's why I started the idea to create a new materials of construction materials to substitute the traditional materials and reduce this type of our biggest problem here in Monterrey. So yes, that's the basic reason.
Awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think like the intersection of why we started to work together is like this vision that he has about like taking advantage of maybe something that is not useful for one industry and making it useful for another one was like the main reason like we started to work together. And then yeah, like we already know like the pollution, like air quality is not great in some cities. Like we are from different cities. Like he's from Monterrey, I'm from Mexico, and Ricardo's from Chihuahua, and each one has different circumstances about like our pollution. But yeah, I think like that purpose was like what brought us together.
So it's one thing to have an idea on how you can improve something, right? Like obviously there's a problem and you want to solve it. I also want to be able to teleport, but it's but it's another thing to actually have a tangible solution that you guys have obviously proven that you're capable of. When you had the idea to mitigate this waste and these to turn it into something tangible, did you know it was possible?
I understand like I need to learn all the technical parts to understand all the process, all the techniques. So basically, I studied business, but I learned chemical process with a center investigation on myself. So I have a different support by scientists, engineers. So I learned a lot of all these chemical things. So just to understand how cool develop this type of technology. So I started like this type of process with the other scientists, but in a case when I talk with the mining sector about their waste material, I understood that their problem and I have the idea to have a solution to this problem. And I just remember my partner here, Daniel, and just talk in a call phone. So basically, I talk with Daniel, and I have a question to him. So Daniel, I have a good opportunity to have a good solution from this industry. So you can separate this material to this material and obtain this type of new raw material to apply to this, and etc. etc. So
that's how it started.
So basically, as we're the next.
Yeah, so it was a phone call, right? Like we met back in the days while like I used to be just studying. Like I have another startup that was from something else, but we happened to running to each other with the same clients to like say going to the same meetings or kind of the same people. And it's not a huge ecosystem in Mexico. And I remember it was like the time I met Ricardo in Chihuahua. We were in like a trip there, but okay, like about this call, he just like, give me a call and with like this accent from a regio, like, oh yeah, wait, do you know how to like treat these materials, like to take this molecules out of it? And I was like, I don't know, like I need a sample. And then he sent it to me and like Tupperware with like a red cap. I just remember that, and it's like just like this moth that was just like wet. It looked basically like moth. And I made some trials, and it happened like a couple months or 3 months after that. We got into like what we were looking for, and then I called him back. I was like, dude, like it's done. Like, and he was like, dude, like this is huge. Like we need to start working on this, because he has like the whole commercial vision of how can we like have one solution for two huge industries, and had all the contacts and everything. Like he has like the commercial side, and it was maybe like more the technical brain that I think like we can make this happen. I don't know how, but I will make like work somehow. And yeah, I think that's the way.
And just to add this, like a recommendation about if you have an idea, you are the vision man, you need a partnership with the technical processes and experience, but you need the other part is the industrial, how do you say, companies that Ricardo have experience in family companies. So
I have the fortune of being part of in Chihuahua, Mexico. My family endeavors in the construction and construction materials industries. So I met Walter a while ago. He was basically accomplishing what I envisioned of my life. I mean, I studied sustainable development engineering, and what I always thought was, I mean, if I study, for example, civil engineering, I'm going to learn the exact same things that all these construction companies already do, but I won't be able to bring nothing new. So I studied sustainable development engineering. And my thoughts were always, how can I make these companies follow the trends that I know in Canada, in the US, in Europe? All the sustainable trends are much more ahead than what we're here in Mexico. But at some point, we'll need to tag along and follow to those trends. So my idea was, how do I make that happen? And here comes Walter with this idea, because when you mentioned how do you make it tangible, I mean, the solution, it wasn't, I mean, right now they talked about the pinnacle, no, the great idea. But before that, there were a lot of other ideas or thoughts of, hey, what if we do this? And then that's when Walter contacted me and, hey, I have this idea. So we took those ideas, presented them to the actual companies that were already working either with construction materials or different things, and they were the ones that were guiding us for it to be a realistic and reliable project, that we weren't chasing anything that wasn't viable in the real world. So once you mention what's tangible, it's a lot of persistence on what Walter mentioned. My goal was to make Monterrey a better place by tackling the pollution. What happened? The pollution was caused by the construction, cement industries, which are great industries, but they come with with this other type of topics. So it was a method of how can we make these such great industries that have been so good to the world. I mean, all the developments, all the flourishing of society come from such industries. But how can we mitigate those? I don't want to say the bad parts that they have, but the opportunity costs that they have. How can we also take advantage of that and make something good out of it? And by pivoting between those two, that's when we arrived to. And I mean, us three working the commercial, the technical part, and I had the fortune to have the access to these companies that already hands-on in the industries, in the business, that could guide us to a reliable and successful product as we are right now today.
Awesome. It's specific. I have like, because often you don't see 3 co-founders, right? Like often it's 1 or it's 2. Very rarely do you see 3. But all of you touched just now about how naturally it came together, right? Like you weren't like actively sourcing people. You were, but not necessarily to be co-founders. So I'm curious, did it like for you? Did you know that you were looking for co-founders, or were you potentially just looking for partners, or and how did that come about? And how do you manage your relationship now? Because you all have very unique skill sets that have to come together, but come together very clearly without butting heads, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a long story about my other co-founders that is like ex-co-founders. So, okay, I started with 3 partners a lot of years ago, but I just in the process I just stayed just myself. So when we have this type of case of about the opportunity, like with the content framework and in another thing like the mining waste material to transform to create new cement and concrete product, I just want to have a partner with the technical experience and the industrial companies experience. So that's why they are my principal partners in my team. So yes, that's why I want to say to them is they're my co-founders right now.
Awesome. It takes a team, right? It takes a team to do anything.
I mean, there's a saying, you must know it. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So I think right now we've developed a methodology of working each on their very special skill set, which was what initially brought us together. I mean, Walter has the experience, the knowledge of all the commercial sides, the relationships, the networking. I've right now had the ability to, be presenting everything to the actual companies and to bring back that information to be processed inside the company. And then Daniel has all the technicality, the scientific background. So I think we've worked really well because each is focused on what they have to do, but not in a vertical way, more in a horizontal. We work together as a team, grow together, fall back together. It's sort of a methodology.
Like not a hierarchical kind of status. It's like we're all level playing field. We all have different things to contribute to the team. So let's all just grow together.
Yeah.
Awesome. Could you guys, because you started in 2019, correct me? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Okay. 2019, it's currently 2025 at time of filming. Could you anticipate the growth that you would have had and the success that you would have had? And tell me about some of your biggest projects to date, please, in that short amount of time.
Yeah. Well, we born in 2019 before COVID. So that's I have a good relationship with Ricardo in these years. So basically they invest in us in 2019, right?
Wait, no, 2020, I think.
2020?
Yeah, 2020.
Well,
21.
Ricardo supports a lot of things in the COVID.
During COVID.
During COVID era. So so basically in this COVID area, we use work with the analysis, technical validations in laboratory. So after COVID, we received this call about a mining company from here in Mexico. We did talking about their problem with their waste material. So that's the point that we have this opportunity to develop our principal technology right now. That's the Eco Clinker. The Eco Clinker is a substitute of traditional clinker. What is clinker? The clinker is the principal raw material to produce cement is the 90% of the cement. So basically, we want to substitute the principal raw material that this traditional clinker is the most expensive raw material to produce this cement product, and the most polluted material. So basically, with this technology, we started here in Monterrey. We are working with Holcim, Sika. They are a cementitious company around the world globally. So when we have their validation of this technology, is this a point to give us an opportunity to show this technology to other companies, not just in Mexico, in around the world. So basically, right now, we are escalating this technology not just in Mexico. We are talking about Chile, Peru, Guatemala, USA, and Canada too. So because we understand that this same problem have the same problem here in China that we say aquí in China. But basically, just to finish, the problem exists around the world. We have a solution. We need to have the greatest strategy to escalate this technology. So actually, we are closing LOIs and MOUs with these companies, mining companies, cement companies in these different countries to validate this technology and show to other companies around the world and funding companies, VCs, that this technology with valid funding here in Mexico have this a lot of opportunity to escalate to other countries. I don't know if you want to say another.
Did you imagine like we were gonna get here?
No, it's a good question. I don't know, because I just start to have a solution to my city. So that's my purpose here in Monterrey. I born here. I live here. I want to live a lot of time here. I love my city, so I didn't imagine this as a good results and growth. But basically, if we can change my city and we can change the world, I want to try it.
No, and to that, I wanted to add, I mean, you've mentioned we started in 2019, it's 2025 time of filming. We didn't, I mean, Walter, I met him around 2020, begin 2021-ish. And at the beginning, we didn't start with the ideas and the progress that we have today. I mean, it was a lot of pivoting. Like I mentioned, first we had a different idea that if I mention to you right now, you'll probably laugh. I mean, about what
Tell me, what was it?
I mean, we were doing, is it possible to mention it? We're doing the construction blocks, but utilizing plastic waste. I mean, we modified the plastic as aggregates, but once we took it to the people that were actually going to use it, the construction company, they were like, I mean, in paper, it sounds good. In reality, I mean, if you ask people, I mean, customers are going to ask you, what's my house made out of? Or it's made out of plastic. Oh, so that's the thing. I mean, one thing is that it looks good, it sounds good in your head, but other thing is that it's accepted by the market. And here, I mean, the success that Wasco has had is it's pretty unique, because you're entering between three titans of the global economy. I mean, the cement industry, the construction industry, and the mining industry. And from my perspective, they're really large industries, but also really conservative. Nothing like the technology industry, which is very progressive, very changing right now with the addition of AI and all of that. I mean, you've seen houses being made the same way as you did 20 years ago. You don't grab the cell phone the same way as you did 20 years ago. Mining processes, I mean, there's some tweaks and changes, but the generality of it, it's still the same. And also the cement industry, I mean, there's cement clinker furnaces in the cement plants that have been used since the 80s, and the process is still the same. So they're really stubborn industries that you need to keep on digging, keep with the pickaxe, keep on it's a continuous process, but once you're in, it's also really hard to get out because once they accept these technologies, for example, that we've developed, that we're building, we're bringing to them, once they accept it, which they've done right now, for them it's a general solution. So I want to say it becomes embedded sort of into their DNA.
Yeah.
So everything else starts growing from that. But to getting from 2019 to the point where right now, I mean, as you've seen, changes, the availability also of the industries, the looking not only in Mexico but also in Canada and the States and Peru, Guatemala, Chile. I mean, you need to be also in the lookout for who does want to follow on this trend and who also needs to follow on the trend.
Great. Yeah, I think it's fascinating because you've created a technology that's usable in a very traditional industry that won't change, right? So you're changing the raw inputs and making it more sustainable, making it scalable. But the raw material that the building companies are using, as far as they're concerned, is the same, right? Like, which is really awesome. I think it's really cool too. Like, we were just hearing this story the other day. There's a guy in Africa that's turning plastic into diesel. Have you heard of this?
Oh yeah, I heard it.
It's fascinating. So along the same light, right? It's like, how can we use these raw materials, make this more sustainable, but continue making, we still need diesel, right? So you're not changing the vessel. Back to was the name always worldwide? Because I'm curious about that, because when I asked about the if you saw how big it was going to become and how big you will be over the next 10 years, et cetera, I mean, you kind of planned for it. Like, a lot of people kind of geofence themselves by, saying, let's say it said Mexico Accountability Solutions, right? Or whatever the case may be, but you didn't.
Mm-hmm. Long story short, I have two partners. When I started the project with Was, do we start with the first, how do you say?
First,
Then
letter.
First letter of their names, Walter,
Yeah.
Adriano Sebastian. Adriano Sebastian is a good friends, but we separate the operation and the company. But that's the point, because in this area or year, we selected by the top 100 green companies in Mexico. So I just know, like, if they could have a question me to why you put the name of the Was, what is the significate. So basically, I don't want to say it's the name of my partners and me, so I want to change that. So my director of this career support me to have this new significate of Was company, because I how to say, I registered the name of like a Was. So basically, we changed Worldwide Country Solutions. And yes, I had a lot of comments that you need to change your name or the name of the Was company, because it's not the same about the construction industry or what else. But my ex-director of the career died like a couple years ago. So basically, I want to stay with this name. How do you say, in purpose to them here?
Yeah, as a
Tribute.
yeah, as a tribute to him. That's a good name, right? Like, I would never imagine we got this far. Like, I was just like, thinking for sure, like, I'm more than passionate to develop this, but man, yeah.
One more thing on the name, because I think it's really fascinating, is the word accountability. And I think that goes hand in hand with sustainability naturally. But why did you choose that word, and what does it actually mean for you guys? Like, how do you attribute that day to day in your operations, accountability?
Well, we understand that all this sustainable project, all this technology needs this economic part. So we talk about our technology. You could reduce their cost of construction or the cost of production of the cement and concrete. So basically, we understand that if you want to develop green projects or green technology, you need to have this cost effect to the industry. So I think there's a point of the accountability, but in Spanish we translate the accountability, and in Spanish is soluciones de responsabilidad mundial. If we want to translate in English, where is the solución de responsabilidad?
I mean,
ESG.
worldwide responsible solutions.
But
But I think like accountability makes more sense because you're taking responsibility, even if it's not something like you caused, but you are taking the stand, or you're making responsible of like resolving that. And of course, it has a very strong meaning, right? Like, so maybe in the sustainable creation of whatever industries or processes, it's very important for companies to be accountable, right? So I think it's just like this value that we're transmitting within the idea of making the company also like accountable of like what is your impact, right?
No, and I also want to add, I mean, I think it's the first time that, because I've thought it before, I mean, the actual name Worldwide Accountability Solutions, but it's the first time I verbalized it many times. And right now, mostly with all the sustainability trend that's going on, people demonize the cement industries, the construction industries, but they still drive on concrete roads and they still go to their concrete house, you know? And so what we're trying to do right now, and I think the name fits perfectly, it's not that they've done bad in the previous years. It's just that what they're building on from now and forward, be accountable for. I mean, my father always told me, no matter how much fun you have, you always need to be accountable for your actions. And I think that hit me until I was 15, for example. And those previous years, it wasn't that I was bad, but I didn't have the knowledge, or let's say the maturity to get to know the actual word, the meaning of it. And I think that's the same thing that's happening with these industries. They knew what they were doing, but probably they didn't know the impact that they were truly causing. And now that this trend of sustainability, of taking care of the planet, leaving it better for future generations, it's coming on abroad, that they started to realize, all right, so I mean, we aren't going to become a burden on us of what we did in the past, but from now on to the future, we're going to try and be better than what we were before. So, and then you add the word solutions, I think it becomes a perfect pair, because many times you want to be better, but you don't know how. I mean, you know you will want to achieve a certain goal, certain metrics as an industry, as a company, but you don't know how. And it gets even more difficult once you're so embedded into your processes, into your culture of how you do things. And I think Wasco here comes with a new mind, fresh ideas, fresh body on how to tackle these sort of problems. And the great part is that it's a solution that it's at scale with what you are doing. It's not that, oh, I'm going to reduce and to give an example, the screws that you're using to the cement industry, how many screws they're going to use. But you're working with their number one raw material that they utilize. Here with the mining industry, you're working with all the waste that they generate. So it's something that one industry is always going to need, the construction industry raw material, and one industry it's always going to produce the waste. And who's going to utilize your solution? I mean, the construction industry, because as a society, we're always developing, looking forward, build a bridge here, a skyscraper there, a road to wherever. So I think it's the perfect pair or between the three on the solution that it makes each of them accountable for what they're doing, but in a reliable and scalable way.
And it's also very good to mention that this is like a new step in the industry, like from waste to wealth, right? Like from waste to something that it's creating value. And speaking about skyscraper, I think it would be very good to show what we are using in the Rise Tower. Like nowadays, the contact formworks that are made from recycled plastic. And yeah, this is part of the beginning of the history of Was Company, and we're very proud to be part of like a project that is one of the tallest skyscrapers that is being built in the world, and it's here located in Monterrey, Nuevo León. And yeah, it's a way like we are just like getting our footprint here, like we are making a better impact by using something that is like reusable by much more times, like more, yeah, exactly, and many times that the traditional products that are like made of wood or it's like the other one is like phenolic, yeah. And yeah, this was like the first real business that brought Was Company, yeah, real.
So cool. And when did this product come to be?
After
It started in, I think, 2021, but as I've mentioned, it's been a completely growing process. It's not that we one day woke up and, oh, I have the perfect idea. I mean, we started first with a combination. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it.
yeah. So yes, we started with different MVPs. So minimal viable product. So basically, we use recycled plastic in compression with a high temperature to have a plate of this material, and we want to use like a content formwork. But when the clients use the other MVP, the first MVP, they say to us is have a high lighter the material, have a lot of problems with installation, etc., etc. So all their comments and recommendation. So it's like to learn about how to develop a good product to this market or these clients. So actually, this is our final product. Have just a composition formula using plastic recycling, polypropylene, and other additives to have the mechanical properties that are to apply to the content formwork. Have a design like with this, how do you say, honeycomb, to have a more lighter product than the wood material, phenol material. And the clients they could use like the same process to install this material. So actually, this is a product that we are selling right now in Mexico. That's why Daniel say that our principal portfolio in a project, the Rise Tower, it will be the top one tallest tower in Latam. In around the world is the 12th.
Wow.
It's a 500-meter tower that they're building 4 miles that way.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So actually they are using this content form with their construction process. So yes, so we have clients here in Monterrey, Guadalajara, Mexico City. And the other one, well, the Eco Clinker, actually we are on selling right now the final product because we are selling the project, because to have this type of project, we are talking about $50 to $100 million to invest in a commercial plant. But you can return your invest in 3 years to 5 years, invest in this type of project. So that's why we have a lot of interest in around the world. But we want to start using America. So a couple of months, we received the notification that we selected to receive like a grant in Hong Kong to escalate our technology to Asia, but we decided to just start with America because we don't want to have a lot of things to do in a lot of countries. So we understand that here in China, well, I don't know want to say China again, but here in Hong Kong and other country in Asia, they don't have this type of solution, basic principle, and like Australia too. So yes.
How are these companies hearing about you? You know, because it's obviously there's this idea that if you do great work, the clients will come. You know that, but it's also that it comes with it's double-edged, right? So it's like sometimes that happens, and sometimes like, are you marketing? Are you constantly contacting these people, or is it just because you have such a great product?
I think it's a struggle because even if you have the right contacts, even if you are, you know, like trying to present the product with the companies, as Ricardo said, it's very, very hard to get into like this conservative industries. And it's been a struggle, right? Even if we have a great product, it's still like a challenge to scale up the production. The minimum quantity orders are huge, so you need a good amount of you know, production, of like, you know, of operations to reach the demands. So so you need to get the support of them. Like we are just starting to get like the LOIs signed by this huge companies like Holcim, for example, that they tested this product. And I believe it's like a very long way, of course, right? Because there's a lot of bureaucracy behind of it, but it's also a lot of small wins that you need to get like super supporters inside of those organizations that like they're not only there like to validate you, but they're there to support you and to make you reach the next level of validation, or like the decision maker position, that they will say, hey, now we're not only with the national director of innovation, no, we gotta go to the global one, and then to the next, and from there like start validating this this innovation, right? So I think it's even if you have a great product, like you need to have the right contacts with. I believe we have an amazing team because of this, and what makes us different, it might be that like the diversity of people that we are working towards one specific goal. Good. The electricity is back. Yeah, I think it's just it's a challenge, right? It's a challenge not only technically but socially and like corporately, and I think it's just like this, like the addition of every skill that we have, right?
Companies like Holcim, Holcim is from France and Switzerland, but have a company here in Mexico from Latam. So basically, they say to us, we have the money, we have the talent to do that, but we don't have the time. So basically, that's why we support you to have this solution and work together and change this process or change the industry. So that's why we say with a lot of how do you say, emotional, that we have partnership with Holcim, Sika, and other type of companies. So yes.
No, and also one thing I want to add is one thing we really focused on is we didn't want to change the way things were done. I mean, if as you can see, if I would have brought a piece of wood, the contact former that is used traditionally today here in Mexico, the methodology is the same. So the rate of acceptance of our products it increases because you don't have to change a lot of the traditional process that people already know. If we would have came here with, oh, I have this new methodology and so on and so on, the hard part is, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, in paper, maybe it sounds amazing, but you aren't the one that is alone going to build the 500-meter skyscraper. I mean, there's a team of, I don't know, 1,000 construction workers right now. And to teach them, oh, this new method, this new product, it's not cost effective for such conservative industries. So right now we're really focused on two main things. One, don't change the way people do things, instead improve, in this case, the material which they already utilize, which is given an additional value. and and the second one is strategic partners. I mean, it's a fun story the way that our products started being utilized in the tallest building here in Latin America. It was actually me and Walter. We, like normal entrepreneurs, we arrived to the workplace. Hey, I have this product. I think it'll benefit you. I'll think it's better for the environment. It's better for you. It's better for me. And the best thing about it is that you don't have to change anything. You don't have to teach people new ways. We're
Low barrier to entry.
low barrier entry. We come here to provide you free samples, utilize them, tell us what you think. And so far, upon the reviews we've received from them, they're amazed with the capabilities. And I think that's one very valuable thing that we've developed. We always go looking to how can we make it possible. You have this problem. We're focused on developing solutions. How? We don't know. That's the beautiful part about it, the process. But once we arrive to a solution, we know it's a good solution because we've worked together with the people that are actually utilizing these solutions.
I can tell you the story. Like one time we were in Chihuahua, and I remember like we went to this construction site. I think it was like Ruba site, I think. And it basically was like, like a panel to like tell them like, okay, like we want you to use this product, and we basically like, some kiddos like in front of the old people, like basically like asking you like, why, like why should I use this? And it was like a powerful moment for me just to see how I was just like, you're putting yourself out, right? Like you're like, even if you're working like your own like development or whatever, like, but when you're in the field, but in front of the people who's like gonna use it, it's like, that's a like, how you say, like the parting point, a point of inflection, because once you start getting into that conversation and into the real action while they're starting to use the product, everything changes, because that is like a lower barrier of like adoption. And that was a powerful moment for me, because he was like, we were not even working together to build this yet. That was like, like just an appointment, like a visit to the field place to see how can we learn what are like the challenges or the barriers for them to start using this. And it's about validation. I think it's very much about validation and going there and just learning what is the market asking for it, right? Asking for.
Yeah, 100%. And I think like you said, like the fact that you don't have to train them on how to use a new product, it's just kind of a replacement. That's obviously far better for multiple reasons, right? Makes it easily accessible. And I think also the fact that you already have a huge accolade that your product is being used in the biggest tower in Latam is crazy, right? Like, I'm sure that will catapult some other growth. I imagine. Which brings me to my next question, which is what is the problem right now? What's the biggest problem that you're facing? Is it production? Is it funding? What does it look like?
About the Eco Clinker, yes, is searching this funding to invest in first the demo plan, the initial plan, and then the commercial plan, because it is so expensive about capex to invest in this plan. But the difference that we say a lot of times about other technologies based on USA, Canada, Europe, we are 10x more or less capital expensive in capex than the other technology. So to the other funding companies or VC, you will invest more or less capital to invest in this plan to other technology based on USA, Canada, or Europe.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the barriers are always there, right? And the challenges and the problem right now might be bureaucracy times. Like sometimes that takes a long of our assistance from us, because we have a wrong way, right? Like we have a a very specific budget, and it's about taking care of this, right? Like we need to be able to resist like the whole time they take to make decisions, and for us, like not like staying without options. We always need to have an option, like a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, U, whatever part of the alphabet. And what's gonna happen if this doesn't go through? There's there it always need to have a way to make things happen, and I think it's just like that, right? I think it's just matter of selling things like down, like having the right paperwork, and then when it's already like signed, then we can go and like check out like the production problems or whatever, because we have a strong team. I believe we have very good advisors. Like one of them is Roman Wolf, which is an ex Origin Materials director of engineering, and he has all the experience at scaling up this kind of like plants, or like production sites. So I don't think it's more like, problems on that side now, but mostly like the most like foundational parts of the contracts and alliances that we need to have like very solid so we can go further.
Yeah, I see.
No, and also adding to what my partner here said, since these industries are very large, you need to be up to the challenge to play in the same field as these industries. You need to take the fight to them. If we build right now, because the technology, it's already proven and it works. But as Walter mentioned, right now, the funding, and why the funding? Because if we started to bit by bit, try to eat upon and make our entry into these markets, it's going to take us 3 lifetimes to get a sizable market share. So right now, what we're trying to do is develop the best methodology to, once we've received the funding, be a viable solution, but not tomorrow, knowing today. And what does that cost? It costs money in the way that, as Walter mentioned, the demo plant, which, how much was it? 15. 1.5. But the thing is, once you've proven that, then for those industries, 100, 500 million, $1 billion, it ain't a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is to be able to compete with them, or in this case, be an ally to them within the same field. If they see you that you're a bit too small, for them it's more of a struggle to be taking care of you as a little kid than rather let you grow up to be, in this case, a young adult, and then you can play with, how they say, you can play with the big boys.
Yeah. Which is interesting, because it's kind of a dichotomy, right? It's like they want you to be bigger to be able to partner with them, but then how are you going to get bigger if you don't partner with them, right?
Yeah, I think it's about like risk reduction, right? It's always about risk reduction and how sure we about like the properties or the quality of the product that we are developing, that we're like delivering to them, right? Because in the end, like this is gonna be part of houses. It's gonna be part of like highways. This is gonna be part of everything that it's around us. And even if they're only using like 10% of it, and it's being like scientifically backed by a lot of analysis and people has like been testing it, we need to have a very specific roadmap to get there. And it's like we're playing this game, like, yes, they have the money, they want the solution, but hey, how much can you produce right now? Hey, how much can you make this happen in this amount of time? And I think this is just about like getting to the right people, getting to the right partners, and we're not gonna stop.
Oh, and also, I mean, business is business. If for them it's not viable right now due to the scale of what the technology we have right now and our production capabilities, they're going to keep on waiting until for them it's viable. So right now we're working with strategic partners such as Holcim and other scientific centers, other people involved in such industries. We're trying to change. I don't want to say change their mindset, but add to their mindset that this is a viable solution to, I don't want to say a problem that they had, because for the industry it's not a problem if they keep on working and it's still being utilized and produced, but a solution to something that they should think that nothing's wrong with it, but right now, as I mentioned, due to this sustainability trend, they're going to start little by little realizing what, I mean, I don't want to say the damage, but everything else that they've caused due to the industrialization, globalization, so on and so on.
So interesting how it all works. I'm curious, when you're like, based on the demand that you have, do you have to be pretty selective with the clients that you choose to work with right now in order to be strategic for the growth of both your business and them together? Because, for example, I see, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you were to partner with people that are smaller and doing smaller sized orders and you're already at capacity from like a production standpoint, then it would make less sense than to partner. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have an example. We have a cement company, one of the biggest cement company from Mexico. So basically, we could not work with them because they don't want to sign an NDA. So why do you want, do you not do, how do you say?
You
Do you not want to sign the NDA? What's the probability that you want to obtain my information or can copy this process? So we have this type of case example, not just in Mexico, it's in we have another case in Canada.
Yeah, great.
So well, great or bad thing, but they say no, give me the information to validate with other scientists to know that if this solution is valid in Canada. So, but do you need this information? You just need the information of the result of applying this material in the cement or concrete product.
Yeah.
So that's another challenge that we have.
Yeah, and I think it's yeah, you wouldn't imagine that this happened, right? But it happens. Like it's just like, oh, these kids are just like, making something different. Let's see like how unexperienced they are, and let's see if we can take advantage of them. But we need to think this way. Right? I'm not sure if it's like because we're from Mexico or maybe we're thinking wrongly, but I think we need to be very prepared on that and be certain that we have something that is very valuable, that it's creating, not only like a benefit on the cost of the materials, but also like an environmental benefit too. And as you mentioned, it like we need to be careful with whom are we working with, right? And I think we need to get to the right people, to the right companies that really cares about this, of course. And we are also taking taking care of the cost of the process, because if we're not cost effective, this is gonna be very hard to introduce into the market, because there are competitors that are already making some like carbon neutral concrete, but at a very, very high prices. And what we wanted to give to the world, to give to the industry, it's something that everybody can buy, that everybody can implement in their own processes, and they will notice that this will basically have already the validation of the climate kick, or KIC, which is the European the European Union Climate Initiative, and they validated that our clinker is avoiding 212 kilograms of CO2 per 1 ton that we produce. So this is a very raw data that they analyzed, but I think it was like about 20 people like read down all the papers that we sent in this program where we were part of. Here it is, Catalyst. And yeah, and it's something that we've been working so hard, so we're not gonna give it away just because. I think it's about like also having the ownership of it, and I think we have.
No, and also in addition to that, we're playing with the I want to say the titans of the world. I mean, the cement industry, the mining industry. There's such high level entry barriers. I mean, it's not like, oh, I want to start a cement company. Let me borrow 800 million out of nowhere to put a cement plant. If you're not already in that industry, in that economy, in that business, and also with the mining industries. I mean, you have Canada is one of the largest. I think mining is one of the largest sectors of the economy in Canada. Also here in Mexico, also in the United States, also in Australia. And there's such big companies that what I like to say is I don't lose, I win or I learn. And by struggling with these barriers on how is it to play on the same field as these giants that are, I mean, in the global stock markets. I think the ability to be right now since the beginning, be able to know how they operate, how the people that are in the executive positions operate, how they talk, how they manage themselves, what do they look forward to, what they rather not get involved with. I mean, to get all that knowledge since the beginning, I think in 10 years' time, we're going to have such a big head start that if we wanted to little by little find a little cement company or a little mining operation, that we know that at a certain point those small companies are going to face a barrier which it's planted by those larger companies, and we don't have that barrier because we own our own technology, we developed our own technology. So at one point we were going to need to travel from the small sector all the way to the titans in this case, but their operating methods are different. So I think it's a great opportunity to, since the beginning, be able to know how the industry works, how everything operates. And the struggle, I think it's only a measurement of how big the reward is going to be once we're across the other side.
And just to be clear, the problem in Canada is not about a Canadian company, it's a person. So we know that the market or the industry is honestly persons or companies. So just to be clear.
Don't worry, I'm not taking offense, I'm sure.
Clarifying.
Yeah. I think it's really fascinating because you guys are experiencing these. Obviously, you're in a massive market, right? Like from an industry perspective, and you're experiencing these challenges that I would argue most startups, if you will, in the first 6 years would never run up against, right? Which is like you have global demand, which is crazy. Your product, you have to ship it everywhere because the production is here, right? The things that you're running into are incredible. I'm curious about the next. So you're 6 years into production or into the business, and if we were to have the same conversation like 5 years, for example, from now, what do you think is going to change?
I think, hopefully, we were gonna be having at least like a big operation, like have our first demonstration plant or the first big productions. Because right now we have a low capacity where we cannot reach the demand that the market is basically looking for. But we are in the validation stage. I think we want to reach into this specific situation where we are already like in the supply chain, like providing like the materials every day for these companies. And I wish we could be there, like, in a big site that is having a huge impact for the environment and making something out of a problem from another industry too, into a solution. So yeah.
Well, we have another strategy to escalate this technology by licensing the technology. So this strategy is more efficient in time and cost to us to to have a good results or growth in other countries. So basically, the license is take my technology. I will how do you say cobrar?
Royals. So the royalty.
Yeah, shares the royalty. Sorry.
It's a
And I will how do you say sell the equipment, the machinery to invest in your plant, etc., and the maintenance, etc., etc. So we want to escalate this principal 5 countries: Chile, Peru, Guatemala, Mexico, USA, and Canada too. So in 4 years, we want to have operation in these countries.
at least one project on each country. That would be
Okay.
amazing.
Interesting. And so it's not out of the question for you to license your process, is what you're saying. Is that what I'm understanding correctly?
Yeah, like the strategy now is like going towards that, but of course, like we want to have like a validation like on a big plant. It doesn't matter if it's like on our own, like we don't need to own it, but it would be great to see how that can, like, be part of their supply chain on each country, on each company, on each situation or each plant, because it depends on each one. But yeah.
No, and I want to make a point because I think it's such a great question. Right now, as we mentioned in the beginning, one of our main focuses is strategic partners. So what we're doing right now is, once we have the demonstration plan, for us, it's not cost effective, like I mentioned, put a cement plant, because why? One, it's ours and we're not in the industry. We don't have our own market. We don't have our own clients. The mining companies already do have their own clients. They have the connections, such as the cement companies. So what better for us than, hey, here's your solution that you're needing, and we'll supply you all the technology, all the equipment, all the machinery. We'll run the plants for you even, but you are the owner. So right now, in 5 years, if you ask me, to have such operations with a large cement and mining company in Peru, the same here in Mexico, the same in Canada, the same in Chile, and throughout Latin America, and even hopefully other parts of the world.
So cool. When you're ready for Canada, we have a connection for you.
Yes.
Yeah, we start in next week.
Next week, yeah, we'll see you in Vancouver next week.
Meet in Vancouver.
If you guys, I mean, I know we just talked about kind of the 5-year, but ultimately, like if you're to define success for Wasco, what would it look like?
Well, in personal, I think that if was company don't depends of me, of my partners, and we could put another part of the team, directors, I think that is a success, because our technology is, this success is transcendental to the industry and the market around the world. So I don't know.
No, I want to split the question, I think, in 2 parts. I mean, what would it be for me personally that was company was successful, and was company by itself to be, I mean,
Perfect.
in the personal, I think once our solutions are embedded into the industries, that we know we've proven our worth, we've made our mark, and that they're being utilized throughout the industries, cement industry, mining industry, construction industry. And right now we're talking about 2 solutions. I mean, how upon the time that we keep on growing, many more problems are going to rise, many more solutions we want to provide. And for Wasco as a business, I'd love to see it successfully as a global brand of solutions and accountability. Mainly focus on the development side of society, and because I think there's many ways that you can make society accountable, whether it be social, political. We want to focus on the development side of society, and for Wasco to be a global brand that it's known for providing solutions in that niche. I think that would be like categorized as Wasco as an enterprise successful.
I love it.
Yeah. So for me personally, might be more like, building a house with this, like looking like having like a skyscraper or whatever being built with our materials would be amazing for me. Like that would be for me a great success. Okay, like, and for the company itself, I mean, like, like valuations, that like, how that works. Of course, I would like to see it as a $1 billion company, maybe, but that would be like, a secondary like goal, like at least like commercially for my perspective, because I think there's so many things that we still have to do, and yeah, of course, I want to see like Wasco like selling a lot of like tons of our Eco Clinker to the world and produce them like locally, because that's the way it needs to be done. That's the best cost-effective way. And just seeing a one plant like working, or yeah, that would, for me, like, even like this kind of like places that would be with our material, that would be such a pride, like for me, and I'd be very proud of our work.
I think that's a there you go. I think that's a great answer, and I'm really fascinated about this personal residential side of things, right? Like, do you guys have any partnerships in residential building?
Well,
No,
not yet.
no, not yet.
I feel like that would be such a cool opportunity. I'm just thinking out loud, obviously, not influencing your business, but
No, I don't.
but there's so many incredible like luxury builders that, luxury sustainable builders that would be so fascinating to see that on. It'd be such a great case study, not unsimilar to the tower that you already have, right? So
I mean, right now there's a lot of case studies that you arrive to a building and they have this huge plaque that it explains the whole building. Oh, it was built with such materials, such this, such that. That would be great, but as we mentioned right now, our main focus is not to do one building or two buildings, is to be a global brand that affects all the industry throughout the world, a global impact. So our focus is to strategically build the brand, build the partnerships, build the network, so that once we start selling our product, it can have that type of reach instead of just my house or his house.
awesome. One of my last questions, and I would like to hear it from all three of you, is this word that we're using, which is sustainability, right? Is thrown around. Unfortunately, it's like such a buzzword these days, right? Everybody's using it, whether they're right or wrong in using it. And I think it means different things to different people and different businesses, right? So when we're talking about sustainable building or sustainability in production or whatever the case may be, what does that mean for you guys, and how do you carry that value forward in all the decisions that you're making?
I mean, for me, sustainability is integrating on the most like not damaging way with the environment where you're building, while being conscious about your own impact, right? Might be like sound like etheric, I don't know, like theoretically, but I think like there's some societies that have it very clear how can you take advantage of waste. Like, like we can see the example Sweden, how much they are like recycling, not even like recycle, they need to import like waste from other countries. And I think they're like proven pathways to get there without having a lot of carbon emissions coming up from our activities. And that would be like my definition. Like, how can we integrate with the ecosystem or a place where we're not, or like we're like lowering the damage as much as we can, and having, a cordial way to, to be part of the environment.
To me, I told this, and I say this a lot of times, but we're not used to want to be an environmental impact or social impact. Developing this type of solution is about including this economic impact in the sustainable the three parts of the sustainable, and we want to change the perspective about sustainable product or green product, because actually the market said, or their perspective about the green product is more expensive than the traditional product. So with our solution is different, because you can reduce your costs in the construction process or in the production process. So basically it's included like a principle about sustainability, the economic impact in these solutions.
Sounds like there's no downside. Why are people not using it all the time, right?
I mean, for me, I studied sustainable development engineering, and they always mention these two words during the whole of the career. And I'm going to say them in Spanish to not butcher them, but it's sustentabilidad and sostenibilidad. One, sustainability, more related to the environment. Sustainability, I think I'm not butchering them. Is it sustainable? I mean, no matter the cost, but is it sustainable? And I think of this topic, and as you mentioned, such a buzzword, I think of it as the internet back in the 90s, let's say. I mean, nobody knew they needed the internet until they realized how effective it was. And I mean, nobody knew they needed it because they were accustomed to sending cards, or I don't know how was the communication back then. But once it started becoming more attractive, and they realized the benefits, not only on the practicality of it, but also on the reach, that they started to accept it. I think that's what's going to happen also with sustainability. Once they realize, I mean, it's more cost effective, it doesn't damage, because you're conscious about your impact, but not in I'm going to decrease my quantity, but I'm going to do a better use. And once you, I think, look at it from a different perspective, you find ways of new business ventures, new methodologies, more production even. And I think once people start viewing sustainability as they viewed the internet, instead of it's such a buzzword, and I like how it sounds, to, all right, it's coming here to stay. How can I profit from it? How can I make something out of this all this hassle that's around the world, that is going to start growing until it's as the internet is right now for us today. I mean, an everyday thing. I think the United Nations, I don't know if officially or unofficially, but catalog Wi-Fi as a basic need. I mean, I know sustainability is not going to be cataloged as a basic need, but it's going to, from my perspective, be viewed as a must. I mean, hey, was your house built upon these sustainable regulations, or was this new city building, road, etc., built from this perspective? Why? Because you're more conscious on my kids, my grandkids, or your grandkids, or so on and so on, to not keep on consuming on the world in the same ways that we've been previously taking away from it.
Yeah. People didn't know they needed a car. They thought they needed a faster horse, right? Same kind of concept. Final question for you guys is, throughout this conversation, everybody listening has a better understanding of not only what you do, but also the impact that it has. And I think the way for all of these kind of concepts and businesses and that sort of thing they're based in sustainability to be pushed forward, what can the average person do? You know, what do they ask of the people that are building their homes or their buildings, or what kind of conversations need to be had to push the narrative forward?
So at least I know like the market in somewhere that it's not Mexico works differently, but the auto construction industry in Mexico is like the biggest, like because we like to build our own homes, our own places, and I think it was like 70% like the auto construction industry, las personas que construyen sus hijos. it is like it's huge. So as a consumer, you will have the power to choose which brand of concrete you are using. We're not there quite yet, but once we get there, people will have the power just to like, buy something that's sustainable or not, like traditional or like new, focus to a better, environmental friendly product that is basically just tracking everything that we are using, how we're doing it, just disclosing how much benefit you will bring to society by just purchasing a different brand. We need to get that far. And I believe that's going to be like the power of the people, like in the very like bottom line, people will have the power to choose that. And yeah, I hope like we can communicate this properly so people will want to like buy it and be part of the solution too.
I prefer that the elsewhere.
I mean, for me, the conversations I think people need to have is, how can I be more conscious about everything? I mean, right now there's such this topic on this debate online on why do I have to use a paper straw and celebrities are flying on their private jets. I mean, yes, but no, because if you'd had the private jet, you'd probably be using it too. But what you're able to choose is, if you already have 15 pairs of shoes and you're planning on buying a 16th, do you really need a 16th? Or all right, buy the 16th, but what are you doing with all the ones that you probably won't be using? So I think people take it to the extremes, or hey, wonder why are there these mega yachts or these mega always everything or huge homes. I think from my perspective, they can also have the same conversation. If the person is that wealthy and, instead of taking my private jet 20 minutes, instead of driving an hour, we'll probably drive the hour. But if you're conscious from your own perspective, I think you'll be able to truly have an impact, rather than if something is pushed down your throat, like, and going back to the same topic, the paper and plastic straws. I mean, that people are always arguing, oh my God, how is this going to help when there's that? Instead of focusing on the external things and what everybody else is doing, focus on what you're doing and how you can have an impact. And like they say, preach by example. And I think if you start little by little, instead of doing A, I'm going to do B. Instead of doing this, I'm starting to think about this. Although it might at the beginning be a little bit more difficult, more uncomfortable, because whether you're the only one doing it, you don't know how to do it. But once you get the idea of how to do it and you become familiarized with it, I think that's when people really start doing the change. Because if you're only looking at what is he doing, what is she doing, and never focusing on what am I doing to better myself and better what I have the reach of actually having an impact upon. And if you live in the desert, probably your straws won't end up in the ocean. They'll end up on a landfill. But, well, how can I have a less impact on that landfill and not be, and I don't want to say not care about the people that live on the beach and affect the marine ecosystem, but instead of focusing on how, because the key is that people want to solve the problem in the whole world, instead of, well, first solve it in your house, in your room, even smaller, and start from there, your house, then your community, then maybe your city, and I think that builds upon a motion of being more sustainable. And I think that's the conversations that people need to have. How can me, as in this case, Ricardo, I can be more sustainable? Don't worry about, and for using the sake of a name, how many times does Elon Musk or Taylor Swift use their private jet? I don't have a private jet. I don't get to make that decision. I don't have their problems. I don't have their operation. I don't have what they need to do. I have what I have what I need to do, and I know my reach. Oh, why don't you live in a smaller home? Because I can. As simple as that. But I can have less shoes, I can have less clothes, I can separate my waste for it to be recycled. Those are the things that I do. Once I have larger problems, I'll have better solutions. But I don't get mad and suffer because, oh, I don't have an impact. No, you do. The only thing is that you're focusing on the wrong impact that you won't have. You're arguing why there's this when you on your own have this. So I think that's the better conversation.
Focus on the controllables and lead by example.
Focus on yourself.
Awesome. Guys, this has been awesome. I really appreciate you guys coming down here and sharing not only what you're doing, but also why you do it and how you're doing it, because it's commendable. And the growth that you've had in the past couple of years seems minuscule to me based on what I see for you guys in the future. So thanks for sharing. Thanks for the time.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
for having us.